Your alarm goes off. You slept 8 hours. You did everything right. And you feel like you got hit by a truck again. You drag yourself upright. Your thoughts move through syrup. Your hand reaches for the phone before your brain remembers what a phone is. And here's the part nobody told you. In a controlled study at Harvard, people woken from a full night of sleep performed worse on cognitive tests than people who'd been awake for 26 hours straight. 8 hours of sleep. Worse than no sleep at all for the first 10 minutes of your day. This is called sleep inertia, and scientists have been studying it for over 50 years. Sleep inertia is the cognitive fog your brain enters the moment you wake up. A temporary state where your reaction time, your judgment, and your memory are all measurably broken. It can last anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours. The foundational paper came from Pierre Tassi and Alain Muset in the year 2000, published in a major sleep medicine journal. They pulled together decades of research and reached a conclusion that should be on every alarm clock ever sold. The amount of impairment you feel in the morning has almost nothing to do with how many hours you slept. It depends on what your brain was doing the second the alarm hit. And most mornings, your brain was doing the wrong thing. Here's what's actually happening inside your skull. You sleep in cycles of roughly 90 minutes. Light sleep, deeper sleep, then the deepest stage, slow wave sleep, where your brain produces enormous slow electrical waves, and your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles planning, decisions, and self-control, essentially goes offline. We know this from brain imaging. A 1997 study by Braun and colleagues at the National Institutes of Health showed that during slow wave sleep, the prefrontal regions of your brain are selectively shut down, while the rest of your brain hums along. This isn't general sleepiness, it's a targeted blackout of the smartest part of you. Now, your alarm goes off in the middle of that. A second imaging study by Balkan in 2002 tracked what happens next. The brainstem comes back online within 5 minutes, but the prefrontal cortex, it takes another 15 to 20 minutes to catch up. For a quarter of an hour, you are conscious, but the part of you that makes good decisions is still asleep. In a 1999 experiment by Bruck and Pisani, people woke abruptly from deep sleep, made decisions at just 51% of their normal baseline. 51%, half a person. So what does that actually cost you? Let's get specific. Scenario 1, your morning. It's 7:14 in the morning. You haven't been conscious for 10 minutes. You unlock your phone. There's an email from your boss. You read it twice. You type a reply. You hit send. 3 hours later, with coffee in your system and your prefrontal cortex finally back at its desk, you reread that email and you wince. You wouldn't have written that. You didn't write that. A halfway asleep version of you wrote that and signed your name to it. Scenario 2, your work. Multiply that across an entire economy. The Rand Corporation ran the numbers in 2016. Insufficient and disrupted sleep costs the United States up to $411 billion every year. Over 2% of GDP, that's not abstract. That's the first hour of every workday in every office in the country, where millions of people are physically present and cognitively absent, sending emails they'll regret, missing details they'd normally catch, but it doesn't stop at bad emails. Scenario 3, your safety. The AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety estimates that drowsy driving is involved in roughly 17% of all fatal crashes in the United States, about 6,000 deaths a year. And in a retrospective analysis of over 400 U.S. Air Force accidents, pilot errors clustered most heavily in the first hour after waking. Trained pilots, the most disciplined operators on Earth, crashing planes because their prefrontal cortex hadn't logged in yet. It gets darker. A landmark study by Landrigan and colleagues published in a top medical journal in 2004 found that medical interns working extended shifts made nearly 36% more serious errors and over 5 times as many serious diagnostic errors that happen to real patients in real hospitals by doctors whose brains were locked inside the same biological window as yours every single morning. This isn't a productivity issue. It's a public health issue with a body count. Here's the part that should make you feel better, not worse. Your body isn't broken. It's just running ancient software in a modern operating system. For 300,000 years, nothing in human evolution involved a buzzer at 7 in the morning. In a 2015 study, researchers tracked sleep in 3 modern hunter-gatherer societies, the Hadza, the San, and the Tsimane. None of them used alarms. All of them woke about an hour before sunrise, slowly, as the temperature around them began to rise and birdsong started up. Sleep inertia was probably a feature, not a bug. A built-in pause that kept you horizontal and quiet until the cave was safe and the light was up. In the savannah, that pause saved lives. In your bedroom in 2026, it ruins meetings. Your biology is fine. Your alarm clock is the problem. So what do? 3 things, ranked from most to least supported by the research. 1. Wake at the end of a cycle, not the middle. Sleep cycles run roughly 90 minutes. If you fall asleep at 11 at night, an alarm at 6:30 in the morning lands you at the end of a cycle in light sleep. An alarm at 7 drops you into the middle of 1, likely deep sleep, and you'll feel worse despite the extra 30 minutes. Count from when you fall asleep, not when you get into bed. 2. Light, immediately. Bright light in your eyes within minutes of waking won't erase sleep inertia, but it speeds up your transition to alertness and helps anchor your circadian rhythm, so tomorrow morning is easier. Open the curtains before you check your phone. 3. Sleep tracking apps like Sleep Cycle. They try to wake you in light sleep using motion sensors. The technology isn't perfect. Consumer devices misclassify sleep stages more often than they get them right. But for many users, the gentler wake-up beats the brick wall of a fixed alarm, worth experimenting with. So tomorrow morning, your alarm will go off. You'll have slept 8 hours, and for 15, maybe 20 minutes, you'll feel like you got hit by a truck. Now you know why. It's not your discipline. It's not your mattress. It's not the coffee. It's a biological handover happening behind your eyes. Your brainstem awake, your prefrontal cortex still booting up. Be patient with the version of yourself that exists in those first 20 minutes. Don't send the email. Don't make the decision. Let your brain finish waking up. If this helped, subscribe. We've got more.